I'm Liliane Grace, creator of the Mastery Club books and programs, and I'm here with Tamara Curran for an amazing interview for our Inspiring Youth video series. So I met Tamara a couple of years ago on the Creek track walk, and Tamara was there in a wheelchair because she has a condition called Friedrich's Ataxia, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the interview. And she was there with her two dogs, Paris and Hilton. A tiny little terrier and a chihuahua. And I was there with my dog Tess, who has passed away since then. And she's we reckon, a dingo whippet cross. And we would stop and talk and whatever. But the time that we'd really mainly just sort of wave to each other and say hi. But the time that we really connected was one day when I was walking and there was a little crowd of people at the side of the creek. And I was thinking, what are they all looking at? They're all looking into the creek. And I went over to have a look, and there was Tamara in the creek, wheelchair and all. It was so funny. It was a lovely hot summer's day, so, I'm not being cruel by laughing at her. And the first thing we said was, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. She's just sitting there in the water. Because you'd gone a bit too close to the edge, hadn't you? And then just kind of down the side. So it was pretty entertaining. So a few of us hung around and waited until the ambulance came and got you out of there and all the rest of it. And I think you scored a brand new wheelchair out of that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you went up a model, to a groovy one. So while we're conducting this interview, we're going to show you some video footage of Tamara rock climbing. Because even though she's been in a wheelchair, you're 32 now, and you've been in a wheelchair since you were about 17, 18. So, a long time in a wheelchair. But at one point in her mid-20s, she made the decision to go rock climbing. So you're going to be able to watch that while we are talking. So Tamara, how old were you when it became apparent that you had Friedrich's ataxia, and how did you find out that you had it?
From around the age of 9, I thought I would randomly stumble or be a bit clumsy, and I used to often get told off for not watching where I was going, or not being careful, or dropping things. So I was just clumsy, and that just got worse and worse with time. And then it was actually at my great grandmother's funeral. Some other cousins and myself, we had to walk up the aisle and carry something of hers up to her coffin. And my auntie, who's a neurologist, who's a nurse, was there and said to my parents, get that girl to a neurologist straight away, something is not right.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me to a neurologist. They did the nerve conductivity test.
An earth conductivity test?
Nerve.
Oh, a nerve conductivity test. Okay. Okay. Oh, I was lucky you had that aunt then who picked that. All right. So you had that test, and that found that you had Friedrich's ataxia?
And that was over, 18 years ago now when they did that. So back then what they did was the only way they could find out, the only way they could diagnose this and nerve problems and that your nerves weren't receiving the right messages was to basically hook you up to a whole lot of electrodes and shock send you electric shocks
Ooh.
and see how much you responded. What they like, how much, yeah, how much you felt each
Ooh.
electrical pulse.
Was that painful?
Yeah, it's a very bad, well, painful in some spots, less painful in places like in my lower legs and my feet, where I don't have heaps of feeling, but back then my nerves were a lot less dead and broken than they are now, so I felt a lot more.
So you did have some sensation in the lower legs and that, but not as much as you should have had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, so that was that.
That was the start of it.
And then they, knew straight away, and they handed my parents a bunch of photocopied papers and said she'll be dead by 30.
Wow. And how old were you at the time?
14.
14. Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
But, in a way, for me, that was a really great thing, because from that day on, I always had in my mind, right, I've got till 30, so I'll make my time really good. I'll make the most of it, do what I want to do, so...
This is why I'm interviewing you, because of your amazing attitude to something like that, which, if most people, the way they hear it, half empty or half full cup, they would hear it as a death sentence and focus on that. And you heard it as an opportunity to make the most out of your life.
Oh, yeah, but I think, I believe that every person has the ability within them to be able to cope with whatever is thrown their way.
Yes.
So we cope with whatever we have to.
Yeah.
And that is what I had to deal with.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
32.
32, so you've outdone that prediction by 2 years so far, and I can see you've got plenty more life in you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but even now it's still, it has always been a really good thing for me, knowing that I don't have a long life ahead of me. To know that I had a very limited amount of time. Because it was like, right, make the most of it, do what I want, have a really good time while I'm here. Yeah.
That's the most wonderful, inspiring attitude. And you know what? I can really see that for most of us, as I hear you say that, for most of us, we have the assumption we're going to be around for at least 70 years or something. And so we can take our time about doing things because we've got all these years ahead of us, so there's no urgency, whatever. But for you, there was kind of an urgency then to make the most out of your life and make sure you didn't leave this planet till you'd done some of the things that you really wanted to do.
Yeah, but then, so many people do, like you said, have that, they expect they'll be around for ages. So there is no urgency.
No.
So they leave stuff and dilly-dally and, tomorrow, next week, next year.
Mm.
And for me it was like, do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people don't. And then they miss out.
Mm. I'd like for us to have a conversation about some of the stuff that you've done now, you know, but before we do, let's just go backwards a little bit into, because you had this extraordinarily great attitude. Did you also, though, have some depression and some sense of loss and some grief, and or did you have to process that as well?
Definitely, I have a lot through the years. Like more so I think sort of in the last 5 years, which sounds odd because, you know, I've known about this for a long, long time.
Mm.
But, you know, just watching all my friends that I grew up with, and even my brother and everyone get married and have children and, you know, raise families, and you're just realising that that's not a part of my life, even though it never was.
Mm.
I knew that was, I knew from pretty much from the age of 15 that I would never grow up to have children and a husband and family, and well, I knew that. But I think when you're so young, you don't really, it doesn't really sink in probably.
Yeah, so it did.
Even though you know, I don't think you really 100% accept that's the reality.
Wow. So just in these more recent years is when that really has landed.
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
But then, having said that, I don't want those things. Anyway, and I haven't for a long time because I've known that was never going to be a part of my life. I sort of shut that door and bolted it shut.
Right. Yep.
Because, and it was like, yep, don't think about it, don't long for it, don't go there. It's never going to happen, so
just let it go.
yeah.
Yep.
So I've never wanted all those things anyway. A husband and a family, and never wanted those things.
Okay. And your life is very rich with family already, isn't it? In that your parents and your brothers and your, you know, you've got a lot of, and your carers are another form of family for you. You've got a lot of love and people in your life, haven't you? So when you were at school, tell us a little bit about what it was like for you as a teenager dealing with this disease, and how it was affecting you, and how you adjusted, and how your school friends responded, and how your how was that all happening?
I guess when I was a teenager, I was the same as any other teenager, really. My girlfriend and I met every single morning, an hour, 1 hour before school, and did our makeup even though we went to an all-girls school. And, when I was worried about who the boys are like, or having pupils, or...
Yep.
No, I was like any other teenager. But I also had FA lurking in the background. But I sort of pushed it way to the back and tried not to think about it and swept it under the rug and tried my very best to ignore it and be a normal teenager. And my friends, well, I mean, at that point until about, 20, really, I was fine. The only symptom that I really had was that I was like a drunk. I stumbled around and would drop things, bump into things, and fall over,
And you told me one time about doing ballet classes and feeling very stiff and running things, and your dad. Tell us about that.
I did ballet, jazz, and tap from the age of like 5 to 10. And when I was about 7, I started to have very slight difficulties. But they were probably only notable to me and my parents. Where just I was stiff and I wouldn't concentrate really hard, but still not quite get the moves. That should have been easy.
Okay. And you said about running and your dad helping.
And running, yeah. Well, obviously when I was younger, like I grew up, being able to run and ride my bike and do all of that. Then when I hit about 7 or 8, that became quite challenging. And I used to always think, why I don't know how to run anymore. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. So I asked Dad for our school athletics. I think when I was about 9 years old. I've kind of forgotten how to run. Will you teach me? And his response was like, what do you mean you've forgotten how to run? You can't forget. Like something, an instinct. Like that. How do you forget how to run? Yeah, that's like, something that you don't forget. And yeah. And so from that age on, I would often ask my family and friends, do I look funny when I walk? Am I standing perfectly still? Am I swaying? And my friends and family, I think, got quite sick of it.
Okay.
Because then I decided I was asking, and they kept saying, yes, like, I was always really tall and skinny, Hence why I was called Baby Giraffe. Because I was really tall and skinny, so everyone assumed that was why I was clumsy and I hadn't grown into my body yet.
Yeah.
And they were all kind of like, stop asking these stupid questions, like, you look fine when you walk. You know, like that. They didn't know how to answer it. So,
Did your parents, in retrospect, think, yeah, we did know, but we didn't want to face it, so we pushed it aside? Or was it really a complete shock and a surprise when the nurse aunt made that comment and you ended up going and having the tests?
no, well, because Perfect talked about it since as well, and because I was so tall and skinny, they thought as well, like, she's a lucky teenager. Like, she hasn't grown into her body yet.
Yeah. Wow.
Obviously, as it progressed, and I started to fall over nothing and bumping things, and people used to say, "Has she been drinking?" My parents were like, "Oh." Right, and then I think when my auntie said, get her to a neurologist, they were like, yeah, you know. I think probably it was a little bit of like, if we look the other way, maybe she'll grow out of it and be fine. So we'll try and ignore it for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what a journey. What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate to some of these things you've said. So my daughter had a type of juvenile epilepsy when she was very little. So from the time she started to walk, if she fell down and hit her head, she'd go into a fit. And it was the most frightening thing, you know, and we took her to a paediatrician, and he had said he felt that she would outgrow it by the time she was 6. And I think probably even before that, you know, 4 or so, she'd outgrown it. But it was the most frightening few years, and I really did have that same thing as your parents. If I look the other way, maybe it will go away. You know, like
But she would go into a seizure.
She would go into a seizure, yeah, if she hit her head. So it was really scary. And the other thing I can really relate to in what you've said is that my sister died when she was 24. She was hit by a car and she died. And I remember that my way of dealing with that at the time, the grief, was to do exactly what you said about shutting the door and bolting it and telling myself she's not coming back. You've got to move on. You've got to let her go, you know, and accept it and just let that be. So, yeah, I can really see that. One of the ideas in the Mastery Club is that challenges and difficulties also bear gifts and blessings. And you've already mentioned that you've had all sorts of gifts and blessings from this. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. But actually, before I do, I'm just remembering you had mentioned at one point that you had to wear like a, what was it called? A brace, a fiberglass corset brace for 23 hours out of 24 when you're a teenager under your school uniform.
Yeah.
Because you also have scoliosis with this. So tell us a little bit about what that was like.
Well, that was probably worse the wheelchair or anything else. I hated the rice.
Oh.
Was I went from just under my limbs to like to like my hips, just below my hips. I was thick, fiberglass, corset rice, and it used to like blister my skin.
Oh, blister your
time.
skin?
And
Blister your skin? Oh.
yeah, and I used to get blisters. I've been they popped and
Oh.
they were bled, so I started to wear thick singlets under it to prevent it from blistering my skin.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really hot, and I couldn't bend properly. I couldn't go to the bathroom without taking it all off and then putting it all back on. So I went to the bathroom once a day, and I went once in the morning, and then would try and not drink at school. And then my parents took me again once at home in the evening, and then that was that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that can't have been very good for your health.
Oh no, no. I think that's why. One of the reasons why I'm so focused on my diet now.
Yeah, I'd like to go into the diet a little bit more with you. But so I just want to check. So the fiberglass corset was you weren't in your wheelchair at that point, were you? So you're
No.
still walking around.
I was still walking around.
So how old were you when you had to go into a wheelchair?
When I got my wheelchair, I was in my final year of high school.
Okay, so about 17.
However, I didn't actually use it properly. Use it for what it was actually there for till I was about 20. So, for example, at school, I used to get my friends to all pile our school bags on it, so it was heavy. So I used it as a walker,
Okay.
or like, I used it like I would fix, like I'd do the latch on my school bag, and drag along, but use it to steady me while I walked, or like pile a whole lot of books onto my wheelchair and use that to stabilize me. Yeah, I didn't want to sit in my wheelchair. It was like, I was embarrassed. I was a 17-year-old girl, and I was like, no way am I sitting in the wheelchair.
And I guess that it would also have been a symbol of this disease progressing, wouldn't it? So you'd want to be like, not wanting to surrender to the wheelchair.
Yeah,
almost.
I know it's like if I shove it under the rug and just look the other way and ignore it, along the way. And I won't face it right now. I have for a time. I was a young girl, and I had to go out with my friends and look at all boys and like just be a teenager.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey. What a journey. So diet, let's talk a little bit about your diet, and then we'll go back to some of the blessings that have emerged for you.
Well, I grew up. I grew up. Oh yeah, I didn't really, I suppose. When I was a teenager, my diet was terrible. And I was always tall and skinny, and I ate anything that I felt like eating, like mad mix, and I wouldn't go to the toilet for ages, and I never worried about it, and I used to drink Coke, only Coke, and I just, and then when I was, I think about 25, I made the decision to cut sugar and like try and eat raw foods and without additives and preservatives, and just try and eat really well, drink a lot of water, and do the right thing by my body on the inside. Because am I allowed to swear?
Because what?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
No, well, I always thought that my body's fun
Yep.
on the outside, and I can't change that. So I'll focus on the inside.
Okay. And did you notice a difference from changing your diet?
Oh, definitely I have definitely with my energy levels, with my toileting, definitely, like, just, even now, like, stuff like, when you, I think, don't eat sugar really for so long, when you eat something sugary, you're like, that's really sweet. Yeah. Just stuff like, I used to only ever drink Coke. I used to burp all the time. I just felt like a big, full of air.
Yeah.
And then I would go to the toilet for days.
So you were constipated by the diet that you were on. So with like junk food and cheese and things like that, huh?
And no water.
No water. Yeah, that'll do it.
No fruit, no veggies. Everything processed. Just crap.
Well, so maybe part of you going past that 30-year, prognosis is this great diet that you're on now. Yeah.
You know what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
Really, I think it's my animals.
Your animals.
My animals.
Okay.
They're my best friend, friends, my companions, my partner, they're everything to me. They're like my children and my partner and mine. So I talk to them, I laugh with them, I'm with them all the time. I love them.
One of the principles of the universe that is taught by sort of the Eastern philosophies and mysticism, and Dr. DeMartini, who's one of my inspirations, he talks about this, and that is that there's nothing missing. Everything is just changing form. And so, as you said, that your little dogs, Paris and Hilton, and your cat, they are your husband and children. And so, yeah, it's not missing. You've got creatures to whom you can express love and you know, who give you love. So, yeah, it is all there. And that's which one's that, Paris?
Well, speaking of,
Paris
What do you want?
having a little
Go out.
bark there.
go out.
Okay, so I reckon three things. So the diet has obviously been a factor that's supporting you. The dogs are clearly, you know, the pets are clearly a big factor for you with the feeling of love and nurturing and all that they're giving you.
No one, you've heard people say, oh, they're my reason.
Yeah,
My reason, I live for my kids.
yeah.
I live for my animals.
You live for your animals. Yeah,
They're my reason.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. And I reckon the third thing is your attitude. You've this great attitude, really strong in your mind, and that initial decision. I'm going to make the most of my life. If I've only got a few years, I'm going to make them count, and I'm going to have the experiences I want to have. So that's inspiring. So clearly, people are watching this rock climbing video. So that's one of the things you've done. So how old were you when you started rock climbing?
I actually don't really know. I think probably about 27.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, I remember I went rock climbing with the Red at school when I was like 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember loving it. And then my brother goes rock climbing little, well, he used to before he had a son. Anyway, so at that point, one of my old sport workers, Aaron, and he one day said to me, oh, you should do it again, you know, you could do it, like, you should try it.
Mm.
And so we just kind of, there and then were like, yeah, let's go try it, go on. So when they said to me, go on, we'll take you rock climbing, I was like, maybe not today. But then I was like, alright, I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got there and I was like, you know what, yeah, I can do this.
Mm.
Because, you know, about the ropes and
Yeah.
so I tried it. Then I tried it and I loved it. Then I tried again and I loved it. Tried again and I loved it even more. So I just kept going. And then I bought a membership last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been going ever since.
So you've had like to rely on your upper body strength to pull yourself up, and you've got enough sensation in your legs and your feet that you're able to kind of, you know, drag them up and place them on all the little footholds as you're going.
So the stage that I'm at right now is that my feet sort of like, I've probably got about 40% feeling in my feet.
40%.
My ankles, or less,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really feel what they're doing, but so I have to look where they are, and most of the time I have to reach out my arms and like getting my legs up and
Mm-hmm.
put them on the rocks and
Mm-hmm.
feel like, alright, stay there. And then, yeah, so
Mm.
I guess rock climbing is 90% upper body work.
Mm-hmm.
My legs kind of just hang there and drag and
Mm. Mm.
don't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But
So, and mentally, you must be concentrating really hard, you know, that...
yeah, but and I love it because obviously my upper body strength is very important for me
Mm-hmm.
because I transfer and hold myself and pull myself out of bed and on and off the toilet and in and out of the car and
Mm.
so I rely on my upper body a whole lot, so I need to keep that really strong.
Mm.
And so rock climbing really helps me do that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, so it's been quite a blessing in itself then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm. Turn this back over. So, what are some of the other things that you do in your day? Because you're in a wheelchair, you've got carers, and they're with you all day while your parents are at work. And obviously you go walking at the creek because I see you there.
Yeah.
But what else do you do in your day? How do you occupy yourself? Did you,
Well,
after finishing school, did you study at all? What do you do?
when after I finished school, I went to university,
Mm-hmm.
studied psychology.
In the wheelchair, so you physically went there with a carer?
Oh, no, with carer.
On your own?
At that stage on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a while there, until I was about 25, but even 26, I never had carers
Mm-hmm.
because I was quite a lot more able than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Like could do everything on my own really, except I was in a wheelchair.
Mm. Mm.
So I used to get a cab to the station, get on the train,
Mm.
we'll go in the city, roll around, get on the tram,
Wow.
do it then on my own. Yeah, so I was just in a wheelchair.
Wow. So you really became hugely resourceful.
Yeah, well, I loved studying.
Mm-hmm. What were you studying?
Psychology.
Psychology. Okay, all right, and you loved that.
It.
Yeah.
So I did sociology, and physiology for a semester at Swimmen and loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I transferred to psych for a semester at Swimmen, and then I earned enough credit to transfer to Melbourne
Mm-hmm.
University, which is always like my goal.
Your goal, yeah.
And yeah, I studied there for 4 years.
Wow.
Loved it.
Mm.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I went in 3 days a week and made friends and loved it.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right, and So what have you done since university? After that finished, you had been in your early 20s.
That finished early because I was only studying part-time of part-time. So if I had to get that going for 14 years, I would have ended up with a degree
Mm-hmm.
at some point. So a lot of people ask me, what will you do when you get your degree? What are you planning on doing? And for me, that was never ever why I was doing it. I knew from the very beginning that I probably wouldn't get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I never, once again, I shut the door and bolted it.
Yeah.
Knew that was there. I was like, no, I'm doing it because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
yeah, and in the end, as FA progressed,
Mm-hmm.
it became more difficult getting in there and out and around the university itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so got to a point where I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Mm. Mm.
So I stopped.
Mm. So for you, it was very much about being in present time and doing it for the joy of it, not because you were achieving something and you could tick it off for,
Yeah,
a list or anything like that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. I enjoyed city life. Being at uni, making friends, studying, using my brain.
Mm.
That's why I was there.
So what did you do after that, when you weren't able to go into the city anymore?
So that was around about the time where I got my first package. For funding package for my carers.
A funding package.
Yeah,
Okay.
for them carers.
Yeah.
So I started doing my thing with my spot workers.
Okay. So you were doing artwork and things like that?
Yeah, artwork and going out with the dogs
Yep.
and just focusing on fitness
Mm-hmm.
and shopping and trying out all the new organic cafes around the shops.
We were just talking about that before, weren't we? Yes, and we've run into each other often at the organic shop near us, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both have that love of the food. But you've done a couple of very unexpected things too, because you've actually done some modelling, haven't you? When was that?
That was, I think,
Just approximately.
09?
When you were about 9?
No, 09.
Oh, 09. Okay, so in about 2009, you were doing some modelling.
Yeah.
So that's, what is that, like 6 years ago? So you were in your mid-20s.
I'm pretty sure that's when it was.
Yeah. So were you what sort of
publication or whatever was this for?
Well, actually, first, when I was 14 years old, and a friend and I were walking around shopping centres,
Oh, yeah.
as you do when you're a teenager, and this guy, random guy, was looking at us, following us, and anyway, and then ended up approaching us and saying, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so modelling scouts. Can you, if I give my card, will you call? And anyway, and then, so my girlfriend told my parents that they were all excited, so they called.
Mm-hmm.
And I did one bout of modelling then and realised I hate this. Like, it was photo shoot in the middle of winter, wearing skimpy clothing, some arrogant male model on a roof of a building, St. Kilda, and they were all like, you know, don't rub your face, you're ruining your makeup, and that we had to stand still for hours on end for these photos, and it was freezing, and so I was like, I hate that. Not doing that again.
Okay.
So, and then when I was 25 or whatever it was, the Matt and Joe show on the radio were doing they were running some competition that was like, if you, I don't know, like, for best lab for, like, disabled models. And anyway, so my mum got all excited and was like, oh, I'm going to enter you, I'm going to enter you. And she entered me and I was like, right, whatever. And she was so excited. Then my friends all got on board and they were like, oh, we're making some team for you and campaigning for you, and when they put it on Facebook and but everyone joined up, and anyway it became this big thing, and then I won.
Wow.
And the prize was to get taken in a limo to Melbourne Town Hall, where they hold the spring fashion runway thing. Like, get the hair and makeup and all that done. Like, you know, the one where Jennifer Hawkins and that walked down and showed the, what is it, like, spring?
That's, I don't know much about it, but yeah, spring fashion.
Yeah. And then there was me and then 2 minutes up, and we rolled down the runway, and they like made a speech at the end, everyone was cheering and throwing flowers. And yeah, and we were taken in limo to Crown, where they'd like set us up for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stayed at Crown, and they had big brekkie for us next day in the morning, and yeah, and that was that.
Wow.
So it was like one night of
Stardom.
style, and it was all over.
Mm. Wow. That was a
Yeah.
highlight though, huh?
Yeah, well, it was great. It was really fun.
Mm.
I think it was. It was really fun.
Yeah. You've done some other really, really inspiring things too. You've been overseas with the
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah, I went overseas.
How old were you when you went overseas?
We were 25.
Okay, and with a girlfriend?
One of my girlfriends that I had always talked and fantasized about when we're in Paris. Like that would be like when we're in Paris. And then one day she was here and we were going on about when we're in Paris. And she said, you know what, we should really go. And I said, oh, I'd love to go to Paris. And, yeah, then we were like, well, yeah, let's go to Paris. And so we saved up money and went to Paris.
Fantastic.
And then travelled a bit around Europe while we were there.
Wow. Wow. How long were you there for overseas?
2.5 months.
2.5 months. Wow. See, some people don't ever get around to that in their lives at all, and you've overcome all sorts of challenges to do
And
that.
I'm
That's
so
awesome.
glad that I did that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
if something like you could see, I should be wearing my glasses now, but back then I could see properly,
Okay.
I could speak properly,
Yeah.
I could hear a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need help to go to the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
or get in bed or
Mm-hmm.
have a shower or...
Yeah.
No, it was all different, so I'm glad that I did it then.
So you had enough independence to manage it with one girlfriend travelling with you. That was the support you needed.
And then, there was one girlfriend, and then we met another friend in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had to come home to work, but I was like, no, I'm staying.
So you stayed
I
on your own.
Yeah, I was in Barcelona and London on my own for about 2 weeks.
Fantastic.
And then another girlfriend of mine flew over and then we did some more travelling and then came home.
Wow. That's seriously inspiring, you know.
Well, I was pretty fortunate to have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how I did that?
How?
Because, long story, but another one of my girlfriends was around here one day and I had a whole lot of the European precious maroon that I was looking at and choosing where to go and she said, what are you doing? Why do you have these? I said, oh, I'm going to Europe with Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Paris. So I said I was saving petrol money. At the moment, I'm saving $100 fortnight out of my petrol. She said, tell her, that's ridiculous. That would take like 10 years to save. And she was like, let's all get together and do something and raise the money, because you can't save to go to Europe on a pension.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, really? That'll work? Anyway, so a few other girlfriends jumped on board. We were like, and then there was a group of about 9 of us,
Mm-hmm.
and we thought, no, let's have a garage sale and get people to donate stuff, and we'll advertise it really well, make up flyers, do a letterbox drop, all that, and then we'll try and raise enough money for the ticket to Europe, so that all you save for is being in Europe. You know what we made from the yard sale?
How much?
$12,000.
Wow. Wow. That would have gone a long way towards that trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that's how it happened.
So, you having this condition has given your friends great opportunity to express love and support and be creative and all sorts of stuff as well.
Definitely.
Sort of
I mean, my friend, I'm very lucky. I've got amazing friends. And some, pretty much, all, it was stuck by me the whole time. They're amazing. They always there for me, and now they've all got their own families and children. They still always so they want to come round with little so-and-so, and they miss their auntie Tamara. More often than not, I'm like, you have to? I know, I'm like, I love little kids, but after half an hour, I've had enough.
Yeah. They've got a lot of energy, haven't
That's
they?
why I feel
Restless.
like, they're cute, but leave me alone.
Yeah, well, you know, all meaning is contextual, they say. So in your context, I can imagine that gets a bit tiring. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it must be lovely for you too to see them, and another form of having your own children through theirs.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I wanted to ask you about is that you helped out at the very special kids camp.
Yeah.
I gather. So how did that come about?
That came about through a girlfriend of mine who I'm not friends with at all anymore. But she was involved with Lord Summers, an organisation that do, if you like, different camps.
Yep.
And then she started telling me about this in a very special kids camp where a group of volunteers go along and spend the weekend the kids, the families, and so it was kind of like respite for families.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I met one of the guys that was in the organization and developed a massive crush on him. So I thought, right, I've got to get in this organization because I love Craig. And so, yeah, I became involved and started going along on the camps. And they were really eye-opening. Like, they were very sick children there, but in a way it made me look at them and think, wow, I'm lucky. Like, I'm really lucky.
Yeah. All meaning is contextual. Yeah. Wow. This has been really, really a wonderful interview. Thank you, Tamara, for sharing your journey. That's so inspiring, and I really hope people all around the world are going to listen to this and watch this video of you and be encouraged with whatever challenges they're dealing with.
All around the world?
Yeah, why not? Why not? There are people all around the world who are challenged, and, you know, nowadays with the internet we can share things all around the world, so it would be lovely to inspire people everywhere to recognise that whatever they're dealing with, you know, if they just make a decision to make the best out of it, that they can, you know, because you've got what it would be one of the most challenging experiences to be dished out in life, you know, and you've really done some amazing stuff with it, taking lemons and turning them into lemonade. Have you got any other plans or goals or things that you're working on at the moment that you would like to share before we finish?
No. I just want to stay fit.
Stay fit, yeah.
Keep my diet going. Do what I'm doing. Be with my animals.
Yeah. Yep. So you're just enjoying a pretty simple life at the moment and making it as rich and wholesome as you can.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.